We're judging the world and seeing what sucks. We're reviews versus the world.
Welcome to Reviews versus the World podcast. Today we're doing Reviews versus Pixar.
Woo!
Woo-hoo! Go around and introduce everyone. He has a successful dental practice at 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. Aldo!
Yay!
I just swallowed half a sandwich.
She recently said, I don't want to get married, I want to stay single and let my hair flow the wind as I ride through the glen, and firing arrows into the sunset. Emily!
I'll take it.
He can't get the
Just don't tell her fiancé.
Whoa!
He's not here.
I love him. I love you.
That's why that joke worked. He can't, our next panelist can't get the triple mint gum jingle out of his head. Steven!
Yeah!
Not this again!
So good.
We all secretly live in his toy box. His name is on the bottom of all of our shoes. Brady.
Yay!
Holy crap, Steven.
Welcome.
How did he do that? Now I gotta get new shoes.
This was all an elaborate prank. Finally, someone who defrauded a major corporation, robbed the second largest bank in France using only a ballpoint pen, created a hole in the ozone layer over Avignon, and killed a man with this thumb. John, that's me. Let's start with what everyone's been into, Steven.
Okay. So, I've been watching She-Ra.
She-Ra! I love She-Ra, everybody.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
Did we go into a time machine going back 30 years?
no, I own it on DVD.
Yay!
So did we go in a time machine back to...
Hey. Physical media is not dead yet. Yeah, and as you might suspect, She-Ra is remarkably terrible. But, I mean, there are some elements of it that are really good. Like, there are a lot of seeds that would make a really strong story tree if
Right.
they were nurtured properly. Like, you know, She-Ra is the head of a rebellion against the evil Hordak. And unlike Skeletor, who's basically just, you know, kind of useless.
Yep.
Like, Hordak has won. He rules the world. So She-Ra is like the head of the rebellion against Hordak.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's some nice tension there. Of course, the Masters of the Universe character designs are pretty cool, because otherwise they couldn't make toys out of them.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to like in it. Unfortunately, the animation, plot, and voice acting, and music aren't among those things.
You don't like the theme song? It's the best theme song in the world.
Are you kidding me? It's
She-Ra!
horrible.
She-Ra! No, trust me, everybody. It's the best.
No.
It's gonna change your life.
No.
Trust me.
No.
Don't listen to Stephen.
Also, reading some comics, I read the recently collected Superior Foes of Spider-Man.
How is that? I started it and couldn't get into it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah?
It's basically Hawkeye if all of the characters in Hawkeye were actually supervillains who were down on their luck instead of Hawkeye. So it's this sort of like, what do these supervillains do when they're not being foiled by the Avengers, or in this case by Spider-Man?
Right.
And it's pretty interesting. The character work's pretty good. Art's great. Hawkeye is better, but this is pretty solid for someone looking for like a similar thing.
Sweet.
So yeah, that's what I've been into.
Yeah, give that a second chance then. Emily?
I've been watching Smallville. We were talking about Superman before this podcast, just so you guys know.
We were.
No. I had never actually seen it just because it never piqued my interest, but Curtis is like, oh my gosh, I have 6 seasons! You should watch them all."
That's about 3 seasons too many.
Well, yeah. We're in season 4, like we're about 3/4 the way through season 4 right now, and it started really charming, but now I'm at the point where I'm like playing Sudoku and just kind of looking up to see if I've missed anything massive. I mean, I still love certain characters, like I love Lex Luthor.
Lex is great.
Yeah, he's the best part of that show.
Yes.
Easily.
But I'm so sick of Lana, and she makes everything, even when she's done something wrong, she's like, well, you did this. It's like, shut up and die. And she's not as cute as Chloe. Seriously, I can't.
So here are my issues with it.
He was so ready to just pounce.
Oh, I was. As soon as she said Smallville, I'm like, ugh.
I've got a rant prepared for this. Hold on. Let me go open up that Word file. I've been working on this for months.
So Smallville is the worst-paced television show in the history of television
It's
shows.
pretty bad.
So here's how every episode of Smallville, except for maybe the season finales, works. All right, so you have your opening segment where some sort of villain or problem is introduced. You know, pretty standard. And then it goes to Clark in his everyday teenage life, and he encounters the problem, fails, encounters the problem again, wins, and then you still have 40 minutes left of the episode. That is just filled with over-dramatic, badly written, badly acted teenage drama, and I hate it. It's just, it doesn't know how to pace an episode.
I really do love Smallville. You know
I
what's
don't
the best part?
think-
The best part? Somebody save me 5,000 times over.
I just don't think Brady is
You love
the
our big
intended
zero.
audience.
Clearly.
Apparently.
Well, Brady, apart from hating Smallville and wishing death upon its creators and cast and everyone, what's going on?
Yeah, I've been into a few things.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I've been playing a lot of Splatoon because I'm doing a review for it, so I'm getting a lot of footage captured for that.
Looks pretty awesome.
And that'll be coming pretty soon. I've also been really into a lot of different cartoons because cartoons are awesome.
Amen.
And one of them, Steven actually turned me onto it because, you know, if you've ever been to our Facebook page, you know that we put up little statuses every once in a while. And Steven called it his favorite show, his favorite cartoon currently on the air, and that's Steven Universe. So I gave it a shot, and I kind of like it.
I feel like Steven is biased to that show.
Hey, he spells it differently.
It's true.
It's Steven with a V, and I'm Steven with a PH.
He's
So,
got
you
it.
know, I'm a Steven.
But I know that we did our whole podcast last month for title sequences, but the title sequence for this show is wonderful,
It's
and
great.
it gets stuck in my head, and I actually had a moment where I had to message Steven upset, and he had no idea why, because it was stuck in my head.
That is not my fault. I did not write the Steven Universe theme song.
Yeah. And then other than that, and I've been really, really enjoying season 2 of Rick and Morty.
The more I hear about that, it's universally, everyone's really excited that it got picked up for another. I hear that it's great and worth a.
Okay, I will say this. Community is my top 5 sitcoms of all time.
It's all 5 of them?
Yes.
Community is 1 through 5, your favorite sitcoms.
Yes.
Because there are different timelines. You see.
I see.
That's how he can make all 5 shows.
Right.
So, that being said, Rick and Morty is Dan Harmon's best work.
Oh.
And it's the best cartoon on TV right now.
Is it?
I will also say this. Do not watch it with children in the home, because it is extremely risque. It goes into some very, very dark places. But the thing that I absolutely love about it is it takes a lot of the tropes that you see over and over and over in TV and completely turns on its head. So, as an example, you have an episode where you have Morty, who's, you know, the little kid. He's your Marty McFly, except for with less social skills and no skateboarding skills.
Right.
And he is in love with a girl at his school, but she doesn't notice him. And so he goes to his grandpa Rick, his abusive, crazy, genius scientist grandpa Rick, and says, you know, I want a love potion. I go on all these adventures with you. You kind of abuse me a lot. You make me feel like crap, and you owe me something. You owe me this, Grandpa Rick. You owe me this. And so he makes him this love potion, and of course it gets out of control because someone has the flu, and then everybody's in love with Morty. You know, it's something that you've seen before.
Right.
But I'll just skip forward, you know, a good 15 minutes in the episode to a point where everybody in the world has turned into these Cronenberg monster blobs because of this virus, this love potion that Grandpa Rick made, and then it goes downhill from there. They have to basically just decide to start over, and so they find a parallel universe where the Rick and Morty there were able to solve the problem with the Cronenbergs, but they immediately died so that they could just slip into their lives. It's very kind of disturbing, but oh so wonderful.
Huh.
You are the 5th person to try to sell me on this, and you are the 5th person to fail.
And it's a little bit like Bob's Burgers, where the animation style can definitely be a turnoff, especially for Rick himself, because he's an alcoholic. He's always drooling, and he kind of has a weird way of speaking. And I'll say that the co-creator of the show is the guy Justin Roiland, who does a lot of stuff with Adventure Time and does the voice of Lemongrab.
Nothing's turned me off this show faster than that.
Yeah, and I thought it would.
Hate
but
that guy.
That being said, this is including Bob's Burgers. It's my favorite cartoon on TV right now.
Okay then.
Huh.
Aldo.
Sorry.
Aldo has been into hilarious webcomics. and I approve hilarious webcomics.
Except, 70% of them are not safe for work, so, I don't want to share them, but they're equally hilarious. No, what have I been into? I have been playing, 3 video games. I've been playing, Tembo the Badass Elephant.
What? What is this?
Which is a
never
game...
By the
sold
creators
quicker.
of Pokemon.
Well, it's
Really?
made by Game Freak and Sega. And it's essentially a really good Sonic game made by Game Freak. Because you play this badass elephant who is essentially Rambo, but an elephant.
What, is that a special breed?
No.
Is it
No,
African
it's
or
just
Asian? Or?
I think it's African, maybe?
Okay.
Just to clarify.
Okay.
I don't.
I'm just...
Yeah. No, so you play. It's a side-scrolling platforming game, and you play this elephant, and you can jump, and you can do butt stomps, and you can roll around, and you can blow water out of your trunk, and you have to go through these platforming sections. You have to save citizens, who then ride on your back for the remainder of the level. And so they cheer when you kill something, and they're like, "Yay!"
That's pretty awesome.
It's really fun.
It's pretty cool.
You collect peanuts instead of coins like in Mario, and once you get 300 peanuts, you get a peanut butter jar, and peanut butter is your lives. So
I feel like the word peanut was used way too much in that last sentence.
probably.
How would you describe a peanut?
I've also been playing Long Live the Queen, which is I told Steven about
I've
this.
always wanted to try this game.
And it's a really fun game, but you are the caretaker for a 14-year-old princess whose mother has died, and you're supposed to take her to lessons and get her properly trained so that she has the correct stats so that she can make it to be a queen and get crowned. But mine constantly dies, so I constantly have to restart over. It's really text-based. It's really...
How do
I was
you...
gonna say, kind of defeats the purpose of long live the queen if it constantly
the
dies.
premise
Yeah.
of the game is that you're supposed to groom this young woman so that she can take over and be the queen, and there are rival factions that want to bump her off because they want to put their heir on the throne.
There's a lot of politics involved.
I was
and,
just how does she die so fast?
So the way
She's
she...
14.
No, so there's
Like this game.
Have you ever met a 14-year-old girl?
I was a 14-year-old girl once upon a time, you see.
The only thing that stops
So
boys from
Stephen
killing
Barry.
girls when they're 14 is because boys are 14 years old at the same time, and also really annoying.
No,
Sorry,
so-
it's a teenager thing. Teenagers are
yeah.
annoying. I
So,
apologize
I mean-
to all of our teenage listeners.
So
We
there's,
love you.
So there's a lot of politics involved, and you have as you groom her and stuff etiquette, role etiquette, dancing, agility. You also have to teach her politics, foreign affairs, and foreign intelligence.
So basically the Princess Diaries.
Yeah, but more
Julie
interesting.
Andrews. Okay,
Yeah.
It's
I'll buy
more like
that.
the Princess Diaries meets Kill Bill.
I'll buy
Yeah.
that. I'll buy that.
So
I'll buy that.
So you do this. So in my recent playthroughs, I have to get her to know etiquette, so that when she gets this gift from a neighboring country, she doesn't automatically put on a necklace that automatically bethrows her to the prince of this other nation. So now she rejects it. But then now when I go to a party, to a gala thing, I have to make sure that she dances with a woman and not one of the other men, because then they'll think that man is going to be betrothed, and it's just and she always dies on the way to a birthday party, so you should probably make her stop taking that. And the last game I've been playing has been Dragon Ball Xenoverse, which is just a Dragon Ball MMO where you make your own character. You pair up with Trunks and you go through time and fix stuff.
Cool.
What What platforms are all these for? Just PC? Or?
I've been playing all of them on PC, but Tembo, I think, is available on most everything except the Wii U. And Dragon Ball Xenoverse is also available on most everything but the Wii U.
Right on.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've been making up movie games, and that's been my life for the last little while.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else.
Have you been playing Exploding Kittens?
I've only played it once all the way through. But it was great.
It's so much fun.
Did the kittens explode?
Not on me, they didn't. I won the first game, and
I-
then promptly lost in the second one.
I've been playing that twice daily
Yeah.
this whole week, and I am the reigning champion so far in the office.
Question.
Yes.
What's Exploding Kittens?
Yeah, please tell me.
It's the most successful Kickstarter ever.
So it's like
But
Uno.
that tells nothing. That tells you
No,
nothing.
so it's like Uno, but made by the guy that made the Onion. Oh, not the Onion, the Oatmeal.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So the
You draw cards. If you get the exploding kitten, you die. You have cards that can prevent that from happening.
Yeah, and so
And you just go around until there's only one person.
yeah, so the way it kind of works is that you have like cards that are like attack cards, skip cards, see the future cards where you can look at the top 3 cards of the deck, that type of thing. And so what you're trying to do is trying to avoid getting the kitten. You also have diffuse cards. So if you have everybody starts out with one diffuse card. So if you draw that kitten, you can lay down your diffuse card and put that kitten back anywhere in the deck.
I diffused the kitten.
Oh, yeah.
That's so funny.
It's going to explode. I'll show it to you like while we're on a break.
Oh, yeah.
It's really fun.
It's fun. So that's kind of the thing is you're trying to set up other people so that they draw the kitten. So there's cards where you can steal other people's cards, so you can take their diffused card, and that way when they get the kitten, they're like, oh no, I'm out of the game. So last person standing wins.
Awesome.
Tons of fun. But they made boatloads of cash.
Yeah.
Because everyone was reacted to it like really positively. It's a simple card game, funny little drawings on it, win-win for everybody. So.
That's a recipe for success right there.
Do you also have the not safe for work deck?
No.
Oh,
I just got the plain old regular. And try it out.
it's hilarious. It's
Yeah.
just as hilarious.
Is it safe for work?
It's not safe.
No. Neither is most of the oatmeal.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, well, I figure we could take a little break here, and then we'll begin our discussion about Pixar and all things Pixar related, and how wonderful it is, and why Brady is wrong about which is the best Pixar movie.
So many things.
Oh, come on.
So, coming right back. Brady, this is the point when you should start the real thing for real.
Listeners aren't going to know, but we've been going off like this for about 15, 20 minutes.
Future Brady. You can stop weeping now. We are joined now by someone who just transferred from Fear Tech to Monsters University to study screen can design. Michael from the Closet Geek, welcome. We are excited to have you here. Tell us a little bit about Closet Geek. And
Sure,
what goes
absolutely.
on.
So I'm Michael Ricks. I'm with the Closet Geek out of Closet Geek Studios, and we are, first off, I just want to say thank you very much for having me. And secondly, we are going to envelop your podcast. We're so totally, you should be part of the Closet Geek Studios. And we'll just throw you
Sounds
on
like the
iTunes
Borg.
with the
I
rest
know.
of
One of us.
Hey, we do assimilate others. So, because, everybody should come out of the closet about their geekiness. So, we are, like I said, we're the Closet Geek. We're geeks come out, and we bring you the latest and greatest of geeky news. We do a lot of the format similar to you guys, where we just talk about the things that we've done geeky for the week, and we want, what we want you to know about. And then, of course, from there, we talk about all the important news. Not all the news, because a lot of it is not important.
Amen.
That was a self-edit there. But, so we go over it. Like this last week, we went over all the Disney Expo, which was a lot of news. And there was a lot of announcements. And so we decided to just go through it chronologically, and it worked out really well.
And you guys spend an hour and a half on the Frozen sequel.
What? Frozen sequel? I must have missed that.
You guys watched a different Disney Expo.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
I just assumed that there was one announced.
No. Frozen is a standalone. It's Frozen in time, forever.
Hallelujah.
However, the people who did the music for Frozen are doing the music for Gigantic, which is
The Jack and the Beanstalk.
Beanstalk
Wait,
show.
all right.
I thought they did announce a sequel for Frozen. Not at
No.
D23, but somewhere else.
No, if they
But in
did do
general.
it at D23, it doesn't exist.
There's a short.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a Frozen
That's
short. That might
Yeah.
be it.
Frozen.
Yeah,
Anyways.
but they announced plenty of animated films and other things. But
Coco.
yeah, but yeah, the Closet Geek is pretty awesome. We are coming up on episode 100. We've been podcasting for over 2 years. We have a listenership that should be larger. So yeah, but we're 4 brothers. We jokingly say that we've combined our geeky powers to become the 4 horsemen of geek. And
Which means that you will be bringing the downfall of mankind.
we are bringing the downfall of all non-geekdom.
Okay.
All 4 of them are pestilence.
No,
I was going to ask, are you pestilence? or dead?
I'm actually war.
Oh, all right. Then.
So I'm war because I'm actually the only one out of the 4 of us who have any formal martial training.
Ah.
So
I was gonna say it's because
there
you
go.
love Lowrider.
I
War is
apparently
a band.
do not get that reference.
Song,
Wow.
The song is made by a band named War.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Friends with a rider.
Okay.
I got it.
That's not. Yeah, I'm like, is that the song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that almost predates me, and I'm older than all y'all. So.
What are you talking about? I'm 40.
Yeah, man,
Really? You
the
don't
straight
look it.
face just didn't come to me. Weren't you the one who said you were a 12-year-old earlier?
I said I was 14 earlier. No, I said 12.
You
I
said
had
12.
14
You
earlier in the
said I'm
conversation.
tiny. I'm 12.
Before we get too creepy.
I'm not actually 12.
She just sounds
By the
it.
way, just in case you didn't know. Anyway.
So I checked with everybody, and I wanted to get a consensus of what everyone's favorite Pixar movies were. Before we get into what made the top 3, let's talk about Pixar and how great they are. and
You did get my
everything.
email on that.
Yes, I did.
Okay, fantastic.
That was
Good.
totaled in. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It
And it meshed with everybody. It was pretty clear what the top movies were. Not too surprising.
Now, did you also take note of what the worst movies were?
Yes.
Good.
We'll talk about that too, I'm sure.
Yes, we'll start with that, and then we'll get into happy news. So, does anyone have anything they'd like to say about Pixar in general?
There's a couple I haven't seen, and I deeply cry about it every night.
You should.
Well, everybody always wonders, what the difference is between Pixar and Disney Animation Studios. And a lot of people have to understand they are not the same thing.
Nope.
Only owned by the same monolith creature that is Disney.
We are all owned by some sort of monolith creature.
I'm
so.
owned by Disney.
I'm owned by my wife, but she's not a monolith creature.
I'm owned by Cthulhu.
That is a monolith creature. However, I'm surprised you're not dead by now, you deep one. All right.
It is insane.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I was like,
gibbering
you guys
maniac.
act like Disney is everywhere, and I'm actually wearing.
A
A
Disney.
Mickey Mouse
Mouse
shirt.
shirt.
Oh my
I
gosh.
actually,
You've been assimilated.
That's worse than that.
I
Cell phone cases.
actually,
Steamboat
Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat
I actually
Willie.
get paid by Disney. So
Well,
there's
Nobody
that.
asked you.
Hey,
So it
and-
started out.
Speaking about
you know.
Pixar, though, to bring the conversation back to the lighter side
So
of
it
things.
started out as a branch of Lucasfilm, and Pixar was the name of their product. It was a type of software, correct?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep, yeah.
Check my. I mean, I know this stuff, but
Fact check.
if I've been wrong,
Done.
So they hired an animator to show what their software could do, and it was John Lasseter, who worked as a Disney animator, and
That was the Woody short
several of the shorts.
and the light short. That
So
became the
Luxo
logo.
Jr. I think the first one is actually the Adventures of Andre and Wally B.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Red's Dream. It's a little unicycle. Dreams about being
Yep.
in the big show.
Mhm.
Luxo Jr. There's Tin Toy. There's
Tin Toy with the creepiest baby that I
Whoa.
have ever seen.
So creepy. Yeah.
80s computer animation.
Right.
80s computer animation.
But there's some good ones in there. I enjoy Knick Knack.
That
that
was
was
really
great.
A
fun.
little snowman in a snow globe. Yeah. Trying to get the mermaid snow globe.
With the music by Bobby McFerrin.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that. I don't remember anything else about the short other than Bobby McFerrin.
That's all you
So they decided to do features, and then they did Toy Story, and then from there the rest is history, really, because
And now
It's
for
been-
the rest of the story.
Yeah, it's been nonstop hits. Even though some of them, as we'll talk about,
I wouldn't say hits.
well, successful.
They've all been
successful.
Successful, correct. However, the critics have hated
No, they're
a good majority of
and
them.
We're certainly going to talk about
Yes.
that.
Yes.
We'll get into it.
So, one thing that I got to say though, since we brought him up already, John Lasseter might just be my spirit animal. It's either John,
Yeah.
it's either John Lasseter or Jughead Jones from Archie Comics.
I love that both of those are the top shelf in your mind.
I admire creative professionals who you can genuinely see that they put their love of the art before their desire for profits. And even when you talk about the movies like Cars, which are the most toyetic things that Pixar has ever indulged in, John Lasseter made Cars because he likes cars. It's a passion project for him. Everything he does that he gets involved in, he really feels very strongly about. He's got a lot of heart behind it. Yeah. And not to mention, he's also responsible in a lot of ways for bringing some of my favorite movies to the United States. He's one of the reasons that Studio Ghibli films are distributed through Disney.
Exactly what I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't he now involved with Disney Animation Studios as well?
He's the head.
He's the head, yeah.
Yeah.
And so all these films where it's this renaissance of the Disney Animation Studios, it's because of, once again, John Lasseter.
John Lasseter can very easily get the credit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can say, you can like Cars, but you probably like $500 million more. Just wanted to check
That's
the
fair.
figures on
That's
Cars too.
So
yeah.
for me to talk about Pixar, I first have to talk about another studio. Let's talk about DreamWorks. Okay?
Why? Half of the films they put out are crap.
Exactly. But here's what I will say. While Pixar, every film feels personal. It feels like it's a passion project. It feels like it's a vision. Whereas you have DreamWorks, where each of their films feels a little bit like Poochie, where it's a bunch of corporate suits saying, okay, what will people like? Oh, people are really into The Big Bang Theory. Let's go ahead and get Jim Parsons in there. And hey, why not Rihanna? She's popular these days. And let's throw in a bunch of songs that are in the moment. And it's more, instead of having that passion behind a project that you get with Pixar, you have what will do well to connect people to people in this time right now so that we can make a lot of money without much effort.
And Pixar tries to, of course, make successful movies, but stories first. And they've shelved projects. They were going to make a movie called Newt about two lizards that were the last two of their kind or something like that. And then some of their studio, I forget off the top of my head which one it was, did Alpha and Omega. Similar story with wolves, and they were like, no, we're not going to have this ants and Bug's Life kind of thing happen again.
We can talk about that too.
Yeah.
Hey, I like A Bug's Life.
I like
No,
it
that
too.
Bug's Life is
Sketty
fine.
bush to sketty bush.
Well, and so, going along with this discussion of, the corporate mentality, that's where I feel like, and we'll get into our least favorites, but I have a feeling that Cars is going to be there. And Cars is what I call Pixar trying to make a DreamWorks movie. And then you have something over at DreamWorks like How to Train Your Dragon, which I say is DreamWorks trying to make a Pixar movie.
Oh, that's a completely different discussion because
Yeah.
Well,
How
you
to Train
also
Your
have
Dragon
to-
is very much a DreamWorks
Well,
movie.
I was gonna say you have to look at the content though. Everything in Pixar is an original story. Okay,
Except for Cars, which
DreamWorks
is
took
Hollywood.
a book series
Yeah,
and
and
made an
Bug's
animated
Life, The
feature of
Seven
it.
Samurai.
So the characters and the story were already well developed and understood by those who were coming to watch it and those who were developing the film.
Right.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, there's
Aldo has
that.
reminded me, Pixar, 1995. This is a great history of Pixar's films.
Oh.
Pixar, 1995. What if toys had feelings? Pixar, 98. What if bugs had feelings? Pixar, 2001. What if monsters had feelings? Then going on. What if fish had feelings? What if superheroes had feelings? If cars, if rats, if robots, if dogs, if Scotland, if feelings had feelings. That's where we get to Inside Out.
I've seen that, and I think that it's funny, and
I
it's
haven't seen it.
fine. But at the same time, like, that's not really what the Pixar movies are. It's not just exploring whether these inanimate objects have feelings or not. Although that's certainly part of it. It really boils down to the Pixar stories are stories that are relatable. The characters, they have motivations that are clear. The emotional core is something that the audience can care about. It's stories that, if it weren't happening to bugs or monsters or superheroes, like they would be things that are normal people deal with. The Incredibles is all about family relationships and learning to trust each other as a family, whereas Finding Nemo is about the fear that comes from losing a member of your family. And Brave deals with some really significant topics of conversation about loyalty to one's community versus loyalty to oneself and one's own desires. These are things that people care about, and you take away the strippings of or the trappings of the toys and the talking cars. There's still an emotional heart to these movies that everybody can relate to.
Oh yeah.
Until they make sequels.
Not all.
Except I think Pixar.
I said it.
Pixar, I think, has proven that you can make sequels that are as good, if not better, than the original. Because Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3. I don't know how you rank them. Maybe he looks like he disagrees.
I think
Toy Story 2 is on the bottom of, not on the bottom, but it's close to the bottom.
We'll get into it.
I did not enjoy Toy Story 2.
Let's talk about it. I think our consensus for the worst was Cars 2.
Yeah.
I saw this in the
Cars
theater.
2 is awful.
I took my niece and nephew to it, and I was like, they'll enjoy it, I'll enjoy it. And the more I heard about it, and the closer I got to actually seeing it, I was dreading it because I was just, wanted it to be good. And the first
the kids
one was
loved it, and you were
no,
like, oh, God.
the kids who they are the demographic that they were going for. They turned to me and, Uncle John, can I play on your phone? I'm bored. And it was like,
wow.
hey, they got your buddy Mater. They're gonna get him. Yeah, I don't want to. They tried to do a spy movie. They tried to do a race movie, and they didn't do them very well. And there's only so much Larry the Cable Guy that you can take.
They should have just done a Fast and the Furious movie. And just make it ridiculous.
They've made 7, and they're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
What if Vin Diesel had feelings?
Hey.
Whoa, hey.
Hey. Never
Vin
talk bad about Vin
Diesel is like the geek's geek.
He is.
He is.
So-
He is Groot.
I love Vin
before that, he
Diesel.
was
I've
the
told
Iron
all of you
Giant.
this about 1,000 times.
Dude, I still
Understand.
love one of his first interviews when he was on Jay Leno, and he's like, "Yeah, I have like a 17th level wizard that I'm working on."
That's great.
And I'm just like, "Yes, D&D reference on
Well,
Jay
he plays
Leno."
with Dame Judi Dench, so
Yeah,
just saying.
just saying.
So I think it was funny getting on the Wikipedia page for the Pixar films, looking at all of the ratings. Mike's got it here.
This is my research.
It's hilarious to go through because they list all of the Rotten Tomato rankings, and you've got like Toy Story's at like 100, Bugs Life's at 97, Toy Story 2's at like 98.
They're all super high, and then you get to Cars, and it's
Cars is like 75, which is low but still good. Cars 2 is in like the 30s.
it was,
Yeah.
Yeah, let me pull that up. I was like, it was pretty bad. Even went into like the nominations. Like, yeah, let's see here. Cars 2, 39%.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Anything 60 and above is fresh,
Right.
and is still like even 50 and above. I'll give something that's 50 like a chance if it's interesting to me. But
Right.
ooh,
Yeah,
you're
it
headed for
was.
trouble if it's.
So are we talking now about the Pixar things that we don't like?
Well, I think we've started to.
So we should probably just continue and then end with the good.
Brady, why don't you like Ratatouille? What's the matter with you?
I don't know. It just didn't connect with me. I didn't like.
Have you no soul?
Apparently,
Have you
because
never
I
tried to
didn't.
create
I didn't
something?
like.
No, it's because he
I
doesn't have
didn't
a
like the
hair.
characters, and I didn't like the villain, the little French chef. I can't even remember his name anymore.
Skinner.
Yeah,
Ian
he's-
Holm played him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian Holm. Bilbo
Yeah,
himself.
Ian Holm may have
Napoleon
played
from
him.
Time Bandits.
Ian Holm may have played him, but it didn't affect me. It's one where I can see that there is a lot of great thought put into it, and the only moment where I felt like, oh wow, this is good, was at the end when he tastes the ratatouille. That moment right there is the only part of the movie that really got me. The rest I was just like, I don't know.
Well, that
it
is the
just
best
did
part.
not connect with me. However, I will note that it was number 10 on my list. So it was not the lowest.
Yeah, there's 15 possibilities.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was in the lower
So
third.
it was 10 to 15.
Well, it's the best. There are many reasons. No.
I wouldn't say the best.
It is.
No.
It is. You
it's
can
not.
be.
I think it was number 9 or somewhere on my list.
You see, okay, so
8
my
or
list,
9.
I do have to say that my list, I'm pretty sure that by the end of it, I was putting like, I think Toy Story wound up really low on my list, but
Mine too.
the
and
thing is,
I love it.
I was thinking through the movies. It's like, okay, I have seen 13 of the 15 Pixar films, and the ones that I don't like started around 11. Like everything above 11, it's a great movie. It's just, do I like Toy Story more than I like Nirvana? I don't know.
Right.
And Nirvana, by the way, is The Incredibles.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
For me, it was one of those things where it was like, well, if I sat down and I was had a choice between these two movies, which ones would I prefer to watch first?
And that's what I used too.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, my Toy Story is like the first. It's great. It's wonderful. I love Toy Story. It's a great story about toys. And but it was lower than other ones because given the choice, what would I want to watch?
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
What do I
Exactly.
have? What do I have on my shelf at home?
Right.
Ratatouille, like for a couple of weeks there, it was like I was either watching Ratatouille, Casino Royale, or Ocean's 13. That was like my wife and I when we first got married. That was just in like strict rotation. We would like watch those all the time. I don't know, but Ratatouille, I've never. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a time I've enjoyed something in the theater more, or at that point. A few times. Guardians was one of those. The first 20 minutes of Up, and they get
Oh my
married,
god, I can't.
and then they get.
That was only the first 4 and 4.25. There's a reason it's not towards the higher end of my scale because the overall film I did not enjoy. The first 5 minutes are like, yes, a great film,
The very
and
end
then
is
they
good.
introduced the boy, and the whole film went to crap.
for me, it's the dog. When the
Oh,
dog
really?
shows up, I hate that
I
dog.
think he's
So for,
cute.
Yeah.
so for me, the dog is what made me get interested back into the movie because Carl's okay and the little kid is fine, whatever. Well, actually, Carl is the kid, isn't it? No? Okay, I don't know. Okay,
Carl
anyways.
Fredrickson.
Okay, so anyways, the point is, like,
Yeah.
until the dog shows up, I kind of start losing interest. Essentially, I've lost interest, and then the dog shows up, and I kind of start laughing again.
Now, I hate bad puns. It's the entire reason that the most recent Pixar short falls flat. For me.
Oh,
I Lava
What is-
You
what is
is
that?
terrible.
I
I-
don't like love.
Lava.
Lava's
Whoa, whoa,
sad.
So-
whoa. Anybody who dislikes it is so wrong.
No,
Go
I will not
home
like it
and
until I
rock.
take the song "I Love You" and I put it over Dante's Peak. Then it'll be worth something. I do not enjoy it.
I must have not seen this short.
Did you
It's
see
the short
Inside Out?
before Inside Out.
No, I haven't seen Inside Out.
We're gonna spoil it.
It's so
There's no
beautiful.
spoiler. It's a Pixar film. They're all created equally in the same story arc. You're gonna get. They're all
You're going to be surprised.
they're all created the same way by the same
It's
people.
like
But I
the
gotta
mar-
say something about Up still before we move on. The climax of Up, the big action set piece at the end of Up, is a literal dogfight. You've got pilots flying around shooting each other, but they are dogs. It is a literal dogfight.
know.
And that is terrible.
It's the best.
It is the worst.
the best.
I have a problem with movies that make me feel too much, too hard, too fast.
So why do you like Pixar at all?
Well, no. I'm just saying Up was way too much. You saw the whole span of this beautiful love story in 4 minutes. I was probably sobbing for the next 10 minutes because I'm like, why am I watching this?
Up is the
Why am I
equivalent-
feeling this?
That's why they give you a colorful ostrich named Kevin to
That's
take the
fair.
edge off.
Yeah.
Or-
It's not my favorite.
Up is the equivalent
No.
of being like injected with heroin and then being told to wait 2 hours for another shot. that never arrives.
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say with Up. Those first 5 minutes were enough to push it into my top 10.
Uh-huh. And that's the thing. Everything except for Cars 2, I still like. Cars 2 makes me angry.
Right.
Cars 2 makes me upset. Everything else is like, yeah, great, fine. Okay, it's Doc Hollywood, but they're cars. Yeah, I'm in. It's Seven Samurai, but they're bugs. Yeah, I'm in. Great. Magnificent Seven, but they're bugs. Yeah, same thing. Great.
Brother Bear, but they're Scottish.
Brother Bear, but they're Scottish. Freaky Friday, but they're Scottish. Yeah. Fantastic Four, but it doesn't suck. Yeah, great. You know, that's what I was gonna say. Aldo.
With a
You
baby
really,
scroll.
Yeah, you really shouldn't. Shouldn't go see that movie. Just watch Incredibles again.
That really is a thing. I mean, my number 14. So my second lowest one is A Bug's Life, and as I'm looking at it,
I think it's number 5 on my list.
I think it's in my top 5 for sure.
A Bug's Life is forgettable to me, and that's a shame.
For a Pixar movie, being forgettable is actually kind of a grievous sin.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Monsters U for me. I watched that film and I went, it's like a really horrible family version of Animal House, which is horrific because Animal House, if you watch it if you watched it today, you're like, this is the dumbest film in the world because it's so out of context. And so when they did Monsters U, it's like, this concept is from the 80s and you're making it in 09, I think it was, or something like that. It's out of touch.
I liked Animal House. They had a toga party.
Thing is
there was a toga party, sir.
Animal House was popular when I was in elementary school, and it made sense to me then.
But since the times have changed,
Right.
you don't
Exactly.
think
It's
that...
dated itself.
There's
I'll
good
say-
moments in Monsters University.
I'll say
and
this. Yeah, sorry.
I don't want to go
No,
back
just
to
let
jail.
go.
Or I
No,
can
you're
go
probably
back
going to say
to
the same
jail.
thing.
That's
Dealing with failure.
Yeah, exactly. And that how they failed at school. They were kicked out of school.
Yeah.
What did they learn? Work hard, work their butts off, and then they still become the top scarers.
Yeah.
And I think it is kind of a little bit of a twisted message of saying, screw college, just work hard.
Well,
Right.
Although to be fair,
we kind of live in that time where
Yeah.
it's screw college.
college is not the only way to make a living anymore. And it's kind of like, I mean, I'm a manager. I get applicants for jobs, and a lot of them are college graduates, and it kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, it's because, honestly, it would matter, but everybody has to pay $60,000 to go through college, and so by the time you finish college, nobody cares anymore. They just want to pay off their debt and die.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'll say that the messages of Monsters University, along with Charlie Day's voice, pushed it into my top 10.
Uh-huh.
Who did he do? Who was he in that movie?
He was
Art.
Yeah, he was Art.
Art. Yeah.
So much.
I'm not going back to jail. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I like
See,
that.
I made that reference like 2 minutes ago, and nobody else thought it was funny.
Gotta speak up. Gotta speak up. I honestly didn't hear you at all.
Nobody hears me.
Well, let's talk about the good stuff then. Our number 3, when we came to a consensus, was a sequel. It was Toy Story 3. I'll start by saying, of all the prison escape movies I've seen, this edged out with The Great Escape.
Oh,
The Great
wow.
Escape
that's
has
high
Steve
praise.
McQueen.
Oh.
He jumps motorcycles in it.
But does it have Lightning McQueen?
Thankfully, no.
and that good.
Actually, knowing Pixar's propensity for having Easter eggs in its movies, Lightning McQueen may very well be in there somewhere.
That's very
I think he is one of the toys, I bet.
Your face, Aldo.
Or he might
He
be on
might
a
be
poster.
featured in a
on-
poster
Right, right,
because
right.
Cars 2 was
They
next.
do so many Easter eggs. They probably crack themselves up. They're like,
I-
we're gonna do
Well,
this.
does everyone know A113 is in everything because it's
Yeah.
a classroom at Caltech. The Pizza Planet truck from Toy Story is in all of them,
In
except for Ratatouille, I think. There's one where it's not in there.
right.
And then John Ratzenberger.
All I know
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
for the 25th anniversary, they're probably going to release a movie called Pixar, the Easter Egg movie.
I would buy that and I would watch it, and I would buy it in Blu-ray and a digital copy.
Would you get it in Blu-ray 3D?
No, 3D's stupid.
Although Pixar, when they did the remaster of Finding Nemo in 3D, the thing that they did with it is rather than having all of the fish like pop out, they pulled everything back so it looked like you were staring into an aquarium. Which I think is probably the single best use of 3D I've ever even heard of.
Part of the movie is an aquarium.
I know.
But yeah, Toy Story 3 talks about growing up, Andy goes to college.
Letting go.
It was the same guy, and kids who grew up on Toy Story went off to college, and, parents everywhere saw the movie and cried.
Oh my gosh. So bad.
What else do we want to say about
So
Toy
good.
Story 3? It's just amazing, and got nominated for Best Picture.
And there's a Totoro reference.
There's a
There totally is. A
Love
Studio
that.
Ghibli
It's not even a
reference.
reference. It's the full-on
Yeah.
character.
Totoro's
Yeah.
in it.
It's
Yeah.
Totoro's in it. I mean,
Yeah.
I
The plush, right?
Yeah.
It won 2 Oscars.
Best picture or best animated
Best animated
feature,
feature
and
and-
best song.
That's correct. Which I think Tangled should have won Best Song because I like the song from Tangled better than Randy Newman's latest.
Right.
Randy Newman, all his songs sound the same.
That
So
is
did
correct.
every song
He's
in
like
Tangled.
the journey of film.
Hey, I got
All
no
their
problems
songs
with
sound the
that.
same, but everybody loves it.
For good reason.
Just like Journey, everybody loves Journey, but they all sound the same.
Hey,
It wasn't a
without
bad
Randy
song.
Newman, I would have never known that shore people got no reason to live.
I don't know. I heard it from the King Singers first, but anyway.
So you want to talk about, though, making good sequels. Toy Story 3, not only was it a fantastic movie, but it is a fantastic movie that can't stand on its own. Like, it doesn't have the same emotional impact if you haven't seen
true.
the other
Yes.
Toy Story
Yeah,
movies.
it's true.
Yes, I
'Cause
agree.
these are characters that we've grown to love, and not only that, but we've seen how they love each other and how they love their boy, their Andy, that they're taking care of. And so, having seen that in the other 2 movies, when the moment finally comes that they're not going to be with Andy anymore, like, that becomes heartbreaking.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think you need to see that journey before it makes sense.
The
Yeah.
incinerator part had me like...
Oh, the incinerator part!
I had
Right?
me like
Oh my
clenching
gosh.
my seat. And
I'm hearing just that music, that bum bum.
Well, when they get to when they're struggling to get out, which like you said, it's a very human thing.
But then
anybody
they all
stuck
just
in that situation.
hold hands,
Oh
and
my
it's like,
God.
oh,
I'm
and
gonna
I'd
cry
forgotten
right
about
now.
I had forgotten about the aliens because you just see them get swept up by the
bulldozer, huh?
And then you're like, oh no, like they're just gonna accept their fate, and then you're like, in the back of your head, you're like, this is a children's movie, and then you think, but death right there, they're just holding hands and going into the fire, and then
They have accepted.
It is great how many Disney and Pixar movies recently, this is a bit of a tangent, not just Disney and Pixar, but there are a lot of children's cartoons recently that have really addressed how to deal with death. Toy Story 3 approaches it. As for all we've said about Up does talk about it.
And it talks about a type of death that doesn't get talked about very often in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Even adult movies don't talk about kind of miscarriages all that often.
Well, she just died of old age, but yeah,
Well, I mean, like the kid,
they talked about that with no.
or
words.
whatever the pregnancy
Yeah.
thing happened.
Oh yeah. Jeez, I love that sequence, and I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought that's
man.
what you were referring to.
No, I was referring to the death of the old lady.
Well, and Inside Out is all about dealing with loss.
Inside Out is a movie about repression.
Well, let's wait on that because we still have Toy Story 3 ahead of us, and we haven't talked about Mr. Potato Head on our tortilla yet. Oh my gosh. Like, the movie looks gorgeous, and then you look at that and, like, just the amazing animation, like, how many weeks were they, like, messing around with a tortilla?
Right.
And, like, it's
Seeing
so
how a
believable.
tortilla
like,
would move,
Like,
a
tortilla is not going to move with Mr. Potato Head on it. That's not a
Right.
thing that happens. But if it did, that is exactly how it would move. It's animation. Good animation is, making you believe that, it's the illusion of life.
You will believe
You know,
the tortilla will
it doesn't. You don't want to get into the uncanny valley part where it's like Tintin, where it's like supposed to all the
Or like
motion capture.
Toy
and all
Story
that.
1.
No, Toy Story 1 was fine.
No,
Like,
the
they didn't
Uncanny Valley
bother-
on Sid and Andy were terrible.
For its time.
For its time, it wasn't like they weren't going. I don't know. I think they still made it cartoony enough not to be like. Oh.
I still think
Well, I mean
Anyways,
that's more its
yeah.
time than anything else. But
Yeah.
It's not the baby from Tin Toy.
Oh no, that was just
I need to look this up.
terrifying. But so it wasn't directed by John Lasseter. It was Lee Unkrich. I never know how to pronounce his name.
Lee Unkrich.
Yeah, but he been at Pixar and took over, and the cast came back. Jim Varney obviously passed away and was
Yeah.
taken over.
Oh, I just saw the
But,
picture from Tin Toy.
But
Now that will be in your nightmares for the next few weeks.
Why
yeah.
is that? Why is that a thing?
Aldo, come back to the happy place.
No, I'm here now.
Oh, don't look it in the eye. But no, it's just great because it's continuation of this story and this relationship and how these toys adjust to a new place, and it's stuff they've gone through before. Jessie has a freak out because she's been abandoned as a toy before,
Right.
and she's going through the same thing again.
Man.
Yeah, if there's one criticism I can level at the Toy Story movies, it's that its characters tend to go through the same arcs. Like, literally, how many times have they reset Buzz Lightyear's memory? In some way or another.
I'll take Spanish Buzz. I don't care. It works so well for
Oh
me.
yeah, me too.
I mean, it's a great gag, but at the same time, Buzz Lightyear as a character never grows past his character arc in the first movie. He never goes any further than that.
Well, the other ones weren't really about. Like the second one was all Woody.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the first one was Woody, but it was Woody and Buzz.
Also, I have a question. So the toys are sentient, and so they know to like go limp when there's a person in there, and we can see them abuse this rule because they do that to Sid and traumatize him, and are now responsible for thousands of dollars of therapy. But
He becomes a garbage man. It's a steady job.
but why does Buzz, who wholeheartedly believes that he is a spaceman, go toy when Andy is in the room?
If you question those things, then you've missed the point of the.
That's a rabbit hole that we can not go down.
Yeah, it's just.
I'm sorry,
it's a movie.
That's always bugged me so much.
Well, in the prequel to Toy Story, you show that all of the Buzz Lightyear toys are subjected to that, peel your eyes open video screen treatment a la Clockwork Orange,
Right.
so that they are conditioned to go limp every time a human being walks into the room.
Space Ranger training.
It got really dark for a Pixar prequel.
But yeah, anyone else want to say anything about Toy Story 3? I think there's a lot there. We could talk about Ken.
It's magnificent.
I thought it was gonna be the end, but then they announced a Toy Story 4. But
Which, I mean, I was worried about. I was like, do they really have like? Toy
are
Story
they gonna?
3?
Are
But
they,
4
it's
could be
Toy Story 4: The Search for Bo Peep.
It's
Well,
a
that's what
love
it is.
story.
It's going to be a love story. It's Bo Peep wasn't in the third film
right.
because they mention it in the very first part of the
They
film
lost her, yeah.
that they lost her. Now they're going to go find her, and they got the voice actress who did Bo Peep before to come back. So they have
At
all
least they're doing
all
that,
the same
yeah.
voice actors.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as they keep it as good. I mean, and the shorts have all been really good too.
Oh, yeah.
Like Partysaurus Rex was great,
I
and the
love-
Hawaiian Vacation was
Oh.
great. Short Fry was all right, where he was in the support group of other like
The little girl, I can't remember her name, but I think
Bonnie.
that she's. I think that she's wonderful. I think that
Uh-huh.
Bonnie's wonderful. I think that she's even. This might be heresy, but I think that she's even better than Andy.
Well, Andy's barely a character.
Yeah.
He's a plot device more than anything else.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
having a child actually be a character,
I think he had-
could only help the film.
He probably had more dialogue in the third film than any of the other films as the character.
Definitely more than the second.
Yeah.
Well, and you can definitely tell that some people were watching their own kids when writing Bonnie, because I can picture my little 4-year-old doing everything that
Oh, yeah.
Bonnie does.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, I love
yeah.
seeing that in children in cartoons really anything when a child actually acts like a child. It's so cool.
But the first one I loved because that's how my sister and I played with our toys, like when we were little.
Oh yeah.
And like just
I
the
can't stop staring.
gotcha one-eyed Bart. Oh, how'd you know it was
Stop
me?
looking at the baby.
Stop looking at the
Oh,
baby!
no!
I can't.
Marion, shut your eyes! Don't look at it.
Like I have been looking at pictures of this thing in Google
Keep
search
your
for
eyes
like.
shut. Oh.
terrible.
Ah!
It
But I
has-
felt like a Nazi.
It has
Stop
like it has like no tongue. There's like nothing into its mouth.
All I can say to that is ooga chaka, ooga 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 chaka.
Oh my gosh, Ally McBeal
Oh.
flashback.
Oh.
Thank heavens for Guardians of the Galaxy saving that song from the ¡90s.
Good
Yeah,
point.
see, I never watched enough Alan McBeal to like get that association.
You don't have to.
baby. Ooh.
Well, most of you.
All I wanted was a.
How old do you think we are?
I just wanted a Hasselhoff reference in Guardians. That's it.
I don't think you would have crossed over enough.
I just wanted them like while they were in the kiln to just like slowly pan over and he's in the corner eating a hamburger on the ground. That's all.
You got Nathan Fillion in the kiln. What more? do you
Barely.
need?
Anyways, that's a whole other thing.
So let's
So
next.
number 2 is Inside Out,
Oh.
which I think really should be a Best Picture contender, not like
Yeah,
Like-
not best
like-
animated feature.
yeah.
but just
And I'd prefer him to like
best
go back
picture.
to like just 5 in the Best Picture category rather than like let's just bring in all the movies.
I'm kind of surprised Inside Out made it this high on our list.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I put it, I think, number 5 on my list.
I thought it was
But-
going to be number 1.
No, like, cause I watched Inside Out, and guys, I've seen it 4 times in the theater. I loved this movie.
Yeah.
But when I had to sit down and think, did I like this more than Finding Nemo? Like, Finding Nemo made me cry so much, and so did Inside Out. So I don't know. I'm surprised. I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, Inside Out is my favorite movie this year. The only movie that even comes close to being a contender is Mad Max Fury Road. And to be fair, those are very different movies.
I saw it 4 times in the theater too, and
So good.
It's so good. Just everything about it. We should really be telling Michael. It's
I'm the only one in the room who hasn't
Dude,
seen it.
get
Well,
on
let us
that.
tell you.
So here's what you do. Go and watch my review for Reviews versus the World.
There you go.
Inside Out.
That'll put it up to 6 views.
Oh.
Because not all of us
Damn.
can
Thanks,
be,
Aldo.
not all of us can be Steven with his Avatar review.
Guys,
I mean,
Avatar's
seriously.
great. That's all I gotta say.
So is Inside Out. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
Amazing cast, gorgeous animation. All of the characters, specifically Joy, but all of them are made up of like bits of energy and light. And so like she has a solid shape, but you can see that it's little light particles.
She's like
Right.
going.
effervescent.
Yes, and it's
Is the word.
gorgeous to look at.
Oh, yeah.
And they did that to a lesser degree with the other characters. Brilliant stuff. You know, they consulted with doctors, neuroscientists, people who know stuff about the brain.
They know things.
You know, they wanted to like reference different parts. One of the things that they said that they cut out was, well, the whole plot of the movie is that it's the inside of a little girl's head, and it's her emotions controlling her. And joy and sadness get lost in long-term memory. They get kind of.
They don't. No, I mean they don't control her.
Well, they don't control
They
her,
react.
but they react. So they are you know controlling her emotions at least because that's what they are. Joy and sadness have to get back to headquarters where they can you know make Riley, the little girl, happy again. That's what they're trying to do. And one of the parts that were going to get lost in the memory were 2 buildings. One was names and one was faces. And the 2 different departments didn't get along with each other. Explaining why you go, oh, I know their face, but I can't remember their name, or like you know the other way around, whatever. But you know the whole abstract thought chamber, the train of thoughts.
Oh my god.
Triple dent gum.
Triple dent gum.
Yeah. So one of the things that's cool that they explain is kind of how the brain stores memories.
Yeah.
And how there's essentially memories that essentially get kind of thrown out. And there's characters who are essentially the garbage cleaners.
They're the forgetters.
Yeah.
is what they
And
are.
they're the guys that go.
Piano lessons, we don't need all this. Keep heart and soul. Chopsticks. Get rid of the rest.
Yeah.
All the U.S. presidents, just George Washington, Lincoln, and the fat one. Forget the rest. Forget them. And they suck all of their memories off the shelf, and then they go into the memory dump and just are forgotten because she doesn't pay attention to them, so they don't get remembered.
So one thing that I like about a movie, or really any narrative, I love metaphor. Like, I was an English major in college, I love metaphor. Inside Out is this massive metaphor. You're seeing everything from the perspective of basically a young girl's emotions, which of course they don't actually have a perspective, but seeing the story play out where joy and sadness get lost in her brain so she can't react to what's going on with happiness or sadness, it really does a good job of showing how this little, how old, she's 12? 11?
11.
She's 11 years old, and she's been pulled away from her home where she grew up, all of her friends. She's moved across the country with her parents, and she doesn't understand the reasons. She doesn't know how to react. And it's shown through how the journey that these emotions take in her brain. It's a big metaphor for how she reacts to the move. Because if the story had just been about girl moves across the country and has trouble finding new friends, it would be an ABC Family made-for-TV movie.
Right.
And it wouldn't be animated, and it would be terrible. But adding this layer of metaphor to it makes it something that is, A, visually very, very interesting, and B, subtle enough that it's helping people, it's cathartic without being overly preachy.
Yeah, and one of the things, and part of the reason why I'm such a stickler for that little particulation, like that little specificity that I brought up with John, is that Riley, who is the 11-year-old girl, is as much a character as the emotions inside of her. Because she's not being controlled like some sort of 11-year-old girl robot that probably exists in Japan. But she is... She is an actual character, and she has her own likes and dislikes and all these things. And the emotions don't necessarily control things she likes or dislikes, but more than anything, how she reacts to them. And that's kind of that's essentially the whole arc of the whole movie is how to react differently to your old memories. And it's one of those things, it's nice to not just see the orb, go blue and, oh, okay, it's a sad memory, but seeing, like, how she, as an actual person outside of her little headquarters thing, actually reacts to it outside.
So I've seen this movie twice now. I don't match her 4 times, but it's interesting because I had a different perspective the second time around than I had the first time around, because the first time around it was me, my wife, and my kids, but the second time around it was me, my kids, and then my brother and his kids, and he has 5 kids that go from the age of 17 to 7, and just seeing how they reacted to the film, where they were at that age where they could relate emotionally to this film, and that's something that you can't really do very much when you're a kid. Like, you don't have that emotional connection. You can think that things are funny, ha ha ha, they fell down, ha ha ha, it's a fart joke. Yes, we're talking about DreamWorks movies again. But this was an emotional connection that these kids were having, and it just brought the whole thing to another level for me. And that's why I put it as my number 2.
Yeah. I put it as, I think, 3.
What was it in mine?
Huh?
I can't remember what mine was.
I'll check. I think, besides casting being perfect.
Oh, we have to talk about the casting.
But I'll just say, it connected to me, I mean, we've all grown up and had that feeling where you can't control your emotions, and you just, like, it's hard growing up and getting used to new things. But I moved a lot as a kid. I moved across town right in the middle of junior high school, moved across the country in the middle of high school, and went to 4 different elementary schools, and so it's hard, and it, I don't know of another movie or even any other stories that I've read that show that experience of a big move and how it affected you. You put it as number 3 just like I did.
Yes.
Because
I knew it was up there.
I put it on the bottom because I made sure to make a bracketed note, have not seen.
Yeah.
Well, I labeled mine
because I didn't really want it to sway.
There were some of mine that I just labeled like NS as a not seen.
Yeah.
So I do want to note also this was directed by Pete Docter, who is the same director as Up and Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
And he's gotten me to cry in each of his Pixar movies.
Yes, he has. I have to say, because we mentioned the casting, perfect casting.
Oh my gosh.
Lewis Black is anger, Mindy Kaling is disgust.
I was not a fan
Amy
of
Poehler
Mindy
is
Kaling.
joy. No?
Or Amy Poehler. I was not a particular
What?
fan.
What?
But here's the one. Here's the one that I really wanted to bring up. Richard Kind.
Oh, it's Bing Bong.
Richard
Bing Bong's
Kind.
the best.
Oh,
If you don't know who
man.
he is one of those "Hey, it's that guy" actors.
Yeah.
He has bit parts in Scrubs. He's the hypochondriac.
Yep.
He plays Jesse's former boss in Burn Notice, which tells you the reference pool I'm drawing from.
Spin City. He's a regular on Spin
Yes,
City.
yeah.
He was in
Spin
Bug's
City.
Life.
He's
He's the mayor in Gotham.
He is my least favorite actor, or pretty darn close. I hate him so much. His voice to me is like nails on a chalkboard. Can't stand it. Cannot stand him as an actor. Don't like anything he's in. And yet, guys, this is the 3rd consecutive podcast where we have talked about Inside Out, at least to some extent. So I may have mentioned this already because I say this every time I talk about the movie. The fact that Inside Out made me cry over a ridiculous-looking fuzzy animal character designed to sell plush toys, voiced by Richard Kind, named Bing Bong, shows that this movie's got something.
I think he's great in everything, and maybe you don't enjoy him because he's in those roles that.
I really think it is. I really think it is.
But
he's really
so
good at playing
good
the
at it.
annoying characters.
Who's your friend who likes to play Bing Bong, Bing Bong?
Did I mention on the last podcast or the one before?
Oh.
My sister studies elementary music. She is always teaching students and everything like that. But that note progression or whatever, bing bong, is like the first thing that kids can imitate.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense that her imaginary friend would make those sounds, and
I also love the fact that there was absolutely no sense to his design. It is
What are
very
you
much
exactly?
it's very
He's
much
like,
exactly.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm made of cotton candy. I'm part elephant. And I'm part dolphin. Dolphin. He's like, hey, makes a dolphin sound.
Well, he does this-
animals were very big back then. The cow goes moo.
No, the best part is he does that little stance when he does the.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you noticed that he goes almost 2D when he does that.
Yeah.
Like his whole perspective kind of skews a little bit, and he looks 2D when he does the dolphin sound.
And speaking of 2D in a 3D environment, the character design for Fear. Like most of the characters that Pixar creates, it's done 3D modeling, so they have, they turn and they very visibly turn. Fear moves a lot like a 2D character, where no matter what way he's facing, pretty much you see the same two big eyes staring towards the front of the camera. Like
His little curly hair
Yeah.
kind of is always at one side or the other.
he is modeled like a 2D character, and it's really interesting.
Well,
and
and-
it works for the character of Fear. I used to hate
Absolutely.
these character designs, but they've grown on me quite a bit.
This is probably something that none of you guys will relate to because none of you have my job. But I've been playing with the character Fear, and it's very much a 3D model, so there's very much a specific way that he's done. And when I finally got to see him in the movie, I was like, oh, this is genius. Too bad it looks so different. But
Well, yeah, I mean, Steven, you mentioned that his eyes are always facing forward. Well, if you're Fear, you're always on the lookout.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that actually makes sense on a deeper level, even.
Having him watch the dream as it slowly became a nightmare.
Oh my gosh.
Now I gotta look up. Oh,
Dream
man.
Studios, just that entire sequence was
Jangles the cloud.
reality filter.
He's just like Jangles. Like, when they come across him, it's just like this horrifying thing. He's like, "Is it someone's birthday?" Just, oh.
And then,
So-
and then the callbacks at the end where it goes into all the different. Well,
Oh.
that whole sequence where it goes into the other people's heads.
Uh-huh.
My wife,
Girl,
like
girl,
it hits,
girl.
the teenage boy who just freaks out when he runs into a girl, and like everything on his head is on fire, and alarms are going off, and just girl. Yeah,
My favorite
my
is
wife
still-
freaks out every time that
it's
comes
still the
up.
dog.
Oh, the dog.
Or the cat. The cat.
Right?
I hate cats. So it was perfect.
So I don't know if you guys want to get into this, but it's something that I noticed, and eventually the internet noticed. But it was a thing that I don't know if you guys noticed. It's a lot of times to use the word notice. That all
I
of
noticed.
all of the emotions inside the father are essentially male, and the same with the mother. And I thought it was kind of interesting that Riley has a mostly female cast of 3 of them, and 2 of them are still male.
She's still figuring out her emotions.
Exactly.
And you see in Dad's brain that anger is driving.
Yeah.
Anger is kind of the head guy. They're all working together. In the mother's brain, it's sadness. I think it's maybe more empathy than
Yeah.
sadness,
I think so too,
because
yeah.
it's more sophisticated
A lot
emotion
of-
because
yeah.
it's an adult who's
Yeah.
learned how to deal with their issues.
A lot of people like to think that she's depressed and he's like a raging alcoholic, and I'm like, I think you're reading too
that's
much into it.
that's too simple of an explanation.
Exactly, but
You know.
I think it also has to go with, especially the time and age where we are now. We're talking about sexuality and that type of thing. I think it's kind of important to note that a lot of people are figuring out that as you grow up, you kind of have male and female type of thinking and chemicals in your brain and stuff like that. It's not really until you get older that you really kind of figure out where on that side of the
No,
of
who
the
you
coin
are.
that you yeah.
Spectrum.
And I think it's kind of cool that
Some
they
of
did
us
that.
never figure out.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of cool that they did that for Riley, where she has like male counterparts still in her head because, like you said, she's still figuring out who she is, what her emotions are.
I just
That
think
type of thing.
you should cast Bill Hader in everything.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think that Lewis
Yes.
Black was perfect casting for
Yeah.
Anchor.
So good.
Whereas you should not cast him in everything.
He is the perfect ingredient. Maybe not in like a cheerful movie. I
Right.
mean, this is a happy movie, but there's a lot of sadness in it.
Lewis Black's performance in Taming of the Shrew just leaves something to be desired.
Yeah, he doesn't make a good shrew. I loved that whenever Anger was reading the newspaper, it was what was going on in Riley's life.
Yes.
And
Dessert cancelled.
He's like, oh, what? Oh. And they go to the. Congratulations, San Francisco! You've ruined pizza. First the Hawaiians, no you.
I like
his
Hawaiian
little
pizza.
Oh, it's disgusting.
I have to say my
I
favorite.
don't like Hawaiian pizza.
Thank you.
You shouldn't put fruit on pizza.
No, call it something
I
else. It's not
still have to say
pizza.
my favorite joke, and I mentioned this last time. It's still the swear word thing. Where he has,
Let's use that swear word we know. Like his face and mannerisms they caught so perfectly.
well, the thing I love about it though is like once again that these are characters who, although look adult, are not adult because the person who said they are in is not an adult.
Yeah.
So he reacts to swear words not the way an adult does, but the way like a kid would.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the best part where he has like access to that one swear word that he wants to use, and then they give him access to a bigger swear word library.
Yeah.
And that's like the part where he just gets even more excited. And I was just like, I love that because it's not he's not a joyous emotion,
No.
but yet he's joyous about that.
And I think
gets to
that
do his thing.
nuance of emotion is one of the things that makes Inside Out so compelling. Like
Yeah.
these emotions, and it's one of the things that was the hardest for me to accept going into the movie. But once I watched it, I realized it worked. These emotions feel like they're very flat. Like human beings are more nuanced than having 5 emotions. But as the movie progresses, you start to see like Joy comes to understand why sadness is important. And even like Riley's personality comes to accept these as part of what makes life worth living.
Yeah.
The movie ends with a celebration of friendly arguments and tragic teenage vampire romance novels. So anger and sadness being used in positive ways.
That was part of the story. Like to tell the story, they didn't want to have it too cluttered. It says the writers considered up to 27 different emotions, but settled on 5 to make it less complicated. Some of the major emotions that ended up being cut included surprise, pride, trust. So I mean, there were other things that you could do, but just as far as the story and what they wanted to tell, they left it at that. So.
Yeah.
I kind of get the feeling that if we keep talking about this for too much longer, we're like gonna spoil the whole thing and nobody's gonna want to see it anymore.
Basically,
you
what we're
should still
saying
see
is
it.
go and see this movie. It's wonderful.
What's our number 1?
Number 1, not surprising.
Incredibles.
It's The Incredibles.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was my.
I would like to point out that the top 3 match my top 3 exactly.
I don't know. Well, I put Wally. I think
Well, that was a
Wally
mistake in my
number
adding
1. So.
then.
I think Wally was 4 for me.
Okay.
Wally
I
was
put
5
Wally
for
as
me.
1. Yeah, 4.
Because I
5,
loved
5,
Wally because
7.
as much as everybody
11.
despises
11?
it because there's really
No Wally love.
dialogue for the characters, I love that it's such a major statement about society, and I'm just like, boom in your face. This is exactly what would happen if this was the case.
Which is something that they came to later, because originally it was just going to be a race of aliens.
Right.
And Wally, but then they were able to turn it into something relevant.
And the social commentary is the reason that Wally's not number 1 on my list.
That's-
actually.
yeah.
The thing about
little preachy.
the thing about Pixar
Different strokes for
movies
different
is
folks.
that
This is
Yeah.
the
I'm not interested in them making a big point about the world and how we all suck. I just want to be happy.
But Wally.
I don't need some political
What's that?
statement
What,
to-
there's a movie out there. I can't remember. Oh gosh, never mind. There's like
Schindler's
those.
List.
There's
Ferngully.
there's the movies that are like hardcore, like Ferngully.
Yeah.
Environmentalism.
Right.
Shove it down your throat. Rah, take it,
Avatar.
like it.
How many environmentalist movies have a little robot dancing with another little robot in outer space?
Not
I'm not saying
enough.
there's anything
Oh,
wrong with
isn't
that.
it the best part of it when they're dancing in space?
Yeah, and
That
then
made me
he
cry.
it's beautiful.
I cried
That's
so
the reason
hard.
Wally's not number 6 on my list. That part's so good.
Yeah.
The best moment of the entire show for me was actually when Eve sees everything that Wally did for her while she was in her
my heart.
stasis.
You're not allowed to.
She's just a little icon.
No.
You know,
You can still feel.
I think that was my favorite moment of The Incredibles too. You remember how we were supposed to be talking about The Incredibles?
I was
Our
gonna bring it
favorite
around.
movie?
I was gonna bring it around. Top 5 for all of us. Higher than that for most of us. Like just across the board. I think that has a lot to do with Brad Bird.
Yes.
He
Oh, my
understands
gosh.
geeks.
Well, not only that, but like just a really talented filmmaker.
Absolutely.
And I watched all the special features on The Incredibles today just to kind of refresh. And if you haven't watched it, it's worth it's like an hour and a half.
You've
of
got
good
the art
stuff.
of book over there.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
which
it's
is
so
gorgeous.
good.
The
I
color
checked-
scripts I want them on my wall. Like I want like the full it's just amazing.
The
Really
art
talented-
books that Disney puts out, or it's not Disney. What's the name? It's got
Pixar.
Well,
No,
like,
it's I forget the publishing company.
anyway,
It's
they
not-
put
they're
out art
great.
books for almost every Disney film, Disney / Pixar film. And some of these books are better than others. Like I have the book for Brave, and I'm not a fan of it. I have the book for Tangled, and it's amazing. I checked out the Incredibles book from the library, and
The library's not getting it back.
No, I had to return it because I'm honest.
So at that
Perpetual late fee.
So the story behind Incredibles, at that point they had made Toy Story 2, Toy Story Bugs Life, Toy Story 2, and Monsters Inc. And they were afraid of getting complacent. 4 hit movies, undeniable hit movies, great movies. Everybody loved them. They made a lot of money, and they also were really
So they
great.
said, hey, let's do
They were
this
like,
film.
we want to shake this. We want to shake things up to make sure that we're, not going to just be okay with what we're thinking of.
And at the time, a summer movie that was about superheroes was a novelty.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
This was 2004 when this came out. So we had a Spider-Man movie. We had the old Batmans, but they gone the way of Batman and Robin. So Batman
We had
Begins
X-Men.
come out.
Wasn't it-
We had X-Men 1 and 2.
Wasn't it Batman? Wait, what year did it come out?
2004. 2005 was Batman Begins.
Okay, I was gonna say. Yeah.
So we're at that point, and this is on my top 5 best superhero movies, even after all of what
Yes,
Marvel's
I
done.
agree.
Mhm.
And
Wholeheartedly.
it's the best version of the Fantastic Four that we're ever going to see. The way
Yeah.
that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And, so Brad Bird had gone to school, gone to Cal Arts with the rest of the guys. He did Iron Giant. He did
Which
other
is a
stuff
good
on his
one.
own.
Vin Diesel.
That's a really good one.
Sorry, tangent. Fathom Events, they broadcast opera. They do special screenings of riff tracks. They do special screenings of
Anime movies.
Next month in September, they are bringing the Iron Giant back to theaters.
I'm so excited.
I'm going with my 3-year-old niece, and she's gonna. But he's Superman.
Oh my gosh.
I don't need a niece to go to that movie. I'm going by
No, I'm
myself.
saying I'm just excited to see it,
Oh, okay.
in that perspective as well
Oh,
as
yeah.
mine
Oh,
going. There's a big robot. So.
Tangent over.
So he brought a lot of 2D people, and so they were doing a lot with this movie because up until that point, the human characters, if any, had been a side thought.
Right.
And there aren't really any in Bug's Life. Maybe you see their feet
Right.
or shadows or something. Toy Story, they're minimal at best. There's a couple of them, but not really main characters. And Monsters, there's Boo. One little girl really. Who's wonderful, but that's besides the point.
Right.
So they had a whole cast of humans. They had to deal with hair. They had to deal with clothing. So a lot of things that Pixar hadn't done yet. It was a great accomplishment. I still think it holds up.
It helps that they stylize it a lot.
And that's the thing. It's stylized, so it's not that it's going back to the Uncanny Valley thing. It's not a perfect, Bob's head is a Roman helmet. They talk about it in the features. The shape of it, it's not really what a human head looks like, but he moves believably. I mean, as believably as you can for a superhero.
Right.
But the way they move, the way they act, and just the dialogue is really good. The writing is really
I
good.
look forward to the second one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm nervous because I don't want to mess with a great thing. Because The Incredibles, I mean, it's our top movie. It's wonderful. It's amazing.
But if there's any
Hon, where's my super suit?
Great and
Why
good.
do you want to know?
I need it. Why do you need it? The public is in danger. My evening's in danger. You tell me what my suit is, woman. We're talking about the greater
The
good.
greater good. I'm the greatest good you are ever gonna get.
It was inevitable that somebody was going to quote that.
Or anything that
it's a
Buddy
great
says.
Right.
Syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
Every time my hair is messed up in the morning, my wife calls me Syndrome until I put some gel or
It's,
product.
I can see
it's
that.
one of the few lines where I'm perfectly A-okay with Samuel Jackson not dropping an F-bomb.
I know, right?
Which I want to listen to the outtakes where he just drops F-bombs.
Because you know they exist.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's a dirty movie out there somewhere. I blankety blanked up that line, didn't I?
But okay,
yeah.
so let's say the sequel to The Incredibles is bad. We are, for the most part, comic book fans, superhero fans. We're certainly fans
Spoiled.
of superhero movies.
We're very spoiled right now.
And if there's one thing that superhero movie fans are good at, it's ignoring bad sequels.
No,
true.
we're not.
It's all, well...
Our community refuses to let go of Daredevil and Green Lantern.
Oh, I've let go of Daredevil and Green Lantern.
Yeah, me
Community
too.
has.
But I'm talking about X-Men 3.
Ugh.
Which, they made another movie
Oh, yeah.
completely
I
to
told-
write it out of existence.
You know what's funny is
We're okay with this.
You just said that and my brain went 3. Oh yeah, there was a 3.
Brian Singer
The
is.
fact that you were just
Look at
talking about
that.
how we forgive sequels that are bad, and it's honest. We all see them. so they make enough to make another one just so we can forget the one that was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, Batman and Robin did not kill the Batman franchise. It did kind of kill superhero movies for a while, but they made another Batman movie and it made more money than actually exists. So, yeah.
I think that they did, like, the acting is really great, and that's a combination of great voice talent as well as great animators for The Incredibles. I think this is my first Holly Hunter movie, because I saw Raising Arizona later. So I know
I
that
love
that's,
Holly Hunter.
I know.
I love Holly
So,
Hunter.
and, like, Coach, Craig T. Nelson, like, hey, this is a really great job. Way to go, buddy. Like, this,
And I would like to say that if this movie had been created by DreamWorks, it would be starring Brad Pitt and let's say
Angelina Jolie, because
and Angelina Jolie.
And that's
it would
about
be subpar, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like,
I don't just
Hey,
want
I
to.
like that show.
I like it, but
it's so
it could have
silly
been so
fun.
much better.
Right.
I don't want to just like dog on DreamWorks because I actually think I like DreamWorks better than Brady. But he makes a good point. Pixar goes out of their way to get the best voice
casting
for the character.
Oh.
Because Craig T. Nelson was a nobody kind of at this point. He was not a nobody. That's not
No,
quite
he had
right.
retired,
He was a
kind of.
has-been at this point. Nobody really.
like Mr. Incredible.
Well, the thing is, I wouldn't say a has-been. He'd retired.
Okay, that's not.
He'd
I'm
been-
not.
Vampire
But
was only a couple
didn't he
years.
come back and do Parenthood?
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so
true.
it's like, I think he had just retired from film, but then they're like,
I don't know if it's-
you have the perfect voice for this character, and he's like, okay.
And
Maybe
he
just wasn't in
did
the
have the
spotlight.
perfect
Oh,
voice
yeah.
for it.
Right.
He did.
Right.
And
It's kind of like, I think about
He's-
Toy Story. Toy Story wouldn't have been the same if anybody other than Tom Hanks had voiced Woody. And The Incredibles wouldn't be the same if anybody other than Craig T. Nelson had voiced Mr. Incredible. It wouldn't have worked.
well, it's a realistic voice. There's life to it. It's not too polished.
and it fits the character model. It's not like those Disney movies like The Emperor's New Groove, not to dog on The Emperor's New Groove, where the characters are modeled after their voice actors.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is really scary that Yzma looked like Eartha Kitt at that time.
Yeah.
But, like,
Really scary.
even
What
though
is
that,
holding this woman together?
even though Mr. Incredible doesn't look like Craig Nelson, he sounds like the voice. You can imagine that voice coming out
Well,
of that body.
it's because he's middle aged at that point. He's probably close to 50. He's done life.
Mhm.
He's getting ready to move on to the next level with kids into junior high and high school.
Well, it's funny that, like, he talks about settling down in the little video before, the film strip before, and Mrs. Incredible, Elastigirl, is like, I'm not going to settle down. Are you kidding me? No, I don't think so. And then it flips. Like, she takes over the role and does her best with the family, and he's kind of, longing for the glory days. And I think that it's,
That feels like a very realistic portrayal of what happens when you get married. Because I am not married. My married friends all tell me that the instant they get married and they have kids, their entire perspective changes. And it's very easy to see, from my perspective,
And
getting resentful.
It's very true because, like, I'm getting ready to have a second, and it's been almost 11 years from our
Holy
first.
cow!
oh, wow.
But so we're we decided to go for IVF and give it a try. But it's that point where life changes to the point where you're like, you start feeling more like yourself because your children become very independent. And when you think about it, his children were at that point where they were independent. They were going to be fine if he wasn't home, and he knew the wife had the baby. So he was thinking about, like, himself much more.
Yeah.
And that does honestly happen. And it just makes so much sense. And that's why there's that relatability that we always talk about with Pixar films. Is next thing you know, you're looking at it and going, that could be me.
So one of the quick like trivia tidbit. I didn't know who Holly Hunter was until I just looked at her wiki, and I did not realize that she is Senator Finch in Batman v Superman.
Yep.
And that is why that her voice was eerily familiar to me, and I couldn't put
It's
finger
very
on it.
distinctive, very good. Like, I really like it.
I love Holly Hunter.
Now we'll see in Superman, maybe she'll like, just getting reach for something. I don't know.
Across the table and
She
just smack
can
him around.
break necks at a distance.
Oh, jeez.
So,
That's another thing that's great about The Incredibles. Nobody's neck gets broken.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, actually, I might have to retract that
It's like,
statement.
well, when he's trapped and he grabs a Mirage.
Well, he's bluffing.
Also, no capes.
No capes.
No
Okay.
Oh, let's talk about Edna Mode.
Edna Mode.
Oh,
Voiced by
Edna.
Brad Bird.
Yes. He thing is I remember, isn't it in the extras where he talked about he was trying to find somebody to voice the character and then he just decided to do it himself.
Well, that happened with a couple. Like Bud Lucky does the voice of the lawyer, where people at the studio will do voices just for a scratch track, just a temporary voice, just to fill a place and kind of help them start doing the animation process. And then some of them will be like, hey, we can't get any better than this. And with that one, it's like, no one can do this weird accent that she has and match this energy, and it's just perfect.
The funny thing is, though, I don't remember her name. There's an actress out there who looks exactly like Edna Mode.
Oh, I'm sure
she's
there
on,
is.
From CSI.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, NCIS.
NCIS.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking the principal from Kindergarten Cop.
Yes, that's the same actress.
Yes.
Yeah, she looks exactly like her.
Yeah, it's very scary.
It is.
Edna Mode. And guest. Just, I love it. Everything about that. And it takes elements of early Bond that I like.
Yes.
Of the coolness of it without the sexism.
One of my favorite.
I like Bond.
It's the version that they were talking about, how it's like a retro future. It's what they imagined in mid 60s what the future would be like. So it's you look at the design of a lot of things and you're like, this is kind of old fashioned, but wait, they have technology, and so it's this kind of alternate kind of version of events.
It's very in keeping with a lot of the best portrayals of superheroes. You think about the Batman animated series, the Just Him series, very much.
It seemed influenced by the character models. Almost.
You can't be a superhero cartoon post '95 and not be influenced by Batman the animated
it's
series
true.
in some way or another. But it's like a lot of superhero comics. The heyday of superhero comics really was like the 1960s science fiction, looking at not the way that technology was actually going to go, which was more a Star Trek thing, but just kind of this wild fantasy of what it's like.
The golden age.
Yeah, and a lot of the best superhero stories do that, and The Incredibles does it very well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we're missing an element in our discussions of Pixar movies that I think is extremely important.
John
And-
Ratzenberger?
Well, John Lasseter is
snuck him in
very
at the end.
important.
No, I'm sorry.
But Michael Giacchino.
Oh, well, which ones has he done?
He's done.
Is it really Giacchino? I thought it was Giacchino.
Giacchino or Giacchino?
Yeah.
I've heard Giacchino.
I've heard Giacchino.
However he pronounces his name, whatever, he writes great music.
He
You write
writes,
good music, you can pronounce your name however you want.
He writes
did.
amazing music, but this movie in particular,
Yeah, this was his first Pixar movie.
I
right?
think so. And then he's done a few since then. I think he did Up.
He definitely did Up, and
He did
Inside Out.
He did Inside Out.
Inside Out's
Out
got
was
one of the
gorgeous.
greatest soundtracks. It's
Gorgeous.
so good.
He did. He works with J.J. Abrams, so he did the new Star Trek. Bowed out of doing the new Star Wars because you can't. It's John Williams,
Yeah,
and he understood that, and good for him for not trying because.
Well, and he
Yeah.
did Lost, which actually has great music.
Yeah, that's a really good point because he's amazing and has won a couple of Oscars for that. Yeah, he did. I'm just going through Ratatouille, which is amazing music too.
Yeah, I love music.
And
for Ratatouille.
it's the best Pixar movie in my opinion, Brady.
Sorry.
And we'll watch it sometime and point that out.
What
why
show?
you're wrong.
Ratatouille.
It's my
Oh.
favorite. I love Ratatouille. I think it's just the best.
You went off on it, and everybody kind of glazed over with their eyes. It's about a rat that pulls a man's hair.
I didn't.
If you ask me,
It's
that man
about-
needs to see a hospital.
It's about. Never mind.
It's
Just-
about evading.
I'm
food
just
safety
giving. I'm
laws.
being. I'm just being the
that's
devil.
right. It's about getting around the health inspectors alive and dealing with
Kidnapping and
yeah.
and
Shut up! I love that movie. Anyway,
We also love The Incredibles.
The Incredibles is so good, and really top 5 of best superhero movies.
Can I say one of those things
Yeah.
that for me as a comic book fan and as a guy that has loved comic books long before I watched The Incredibles, I loved all the little jokes about comic books.
Oh, the
that-
monologuing.
The monologue.
Oh yeah.
The monologuing. The
Oh, you
side-
caught me monologuing.
the monologuing, the sidekicks, the whole
Yeah.
secret identity, all that stuff, really fun stuff that people are now barely learning about those tropes and those jokes and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm just Incredibles was ahead of the curve
Oh yeah.
as far as making those jokes.
As far as addressing those familiar things that no one ever questioned before, like,
Yeah.
they do monologue a lot. Why tell James Bond how you're going to kill him? Why not just shoot him? I guess they brought that up in Austin Powers.
Yeah.
I have a gun in my room. I'll bring it.
But-
Scott, that's not how we do it.
Again, you want to talk about, we've been talking about The Incredibles being basically the Fantastic Four. The Incredibles was basically Watchmen. That's not novel. The point's been
Oh yeah,
made
because they
before.
retired superheroes
Yeah.
and going into hiding. Yeah.
But it's
It's also
better than the Watchmen.
it also if you really want to
Her
take
Watchmen was not meant to be clean.
Nope.
And in fact, it was actually clean compared to the graphic novel.
Yeah.
Yep.
and if you want to take a little step further, I think it addressed the superhero registration before Marvel actually addressed
That's true.
superhero registration.
Because that was
And it did
Civil
it better
War
than Civil War
2006.
did.
Well, it was already out in the comics, so the influence was definitely there.
No,
No, the Civil War comics came out in 2006. It's not talking about the
No, I'm
movie
talking
Civil
about the
War.
registry, because the
What are you
registry
talking-
was in the X-Men throughout the 80s.
Oh,
That's like mutant
yeah.
registry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We separate mutant rights from superhero rights. Like
They
Marvel
are two
Universe
separate
does.
issues.
Yeah. I'm so glad I'm wearing glasses for that because it
It's the
usually
difference-
looks stupid when I'm not.
It's well, if X-Men wasn't owned by a different company,
They could have.
they could actually
Yep.
say mutants,
That's true. And too bad that.
and you
great that
could
we got-
have that wonderful crossover with the X-Men and the Avengers.
Oh.
And you.
I'm just glad that they still have the Inhumans to work with.
But
True.
did you even know who the Inhumans were 3 years
Nope.
ago? Exactly.
Nope. Not
Yes.
even 2 years ago. Well, I don't know when
You
I
have to. You
I-
have to be a comic book person
Oh,
to
yeah.
really know
It
it.
just. I'm sorry, Brady. That's just one
I
of-
somehow knew about Lockjaw.
Lockjaw's the best.
He's
It's
like
just-
the
He's
dog
a
in
giant
John
teleporting
Carter.
bulldog. He is the best.
It's just
like
one of those.
that's just
pet peeves
science
I have.
talking.
It's better than Medusa. She can control her hair.
Yes, this is the
Well,
thing.
yeah,
Medusa
it's
does.
better.
She's a redhead with a purple outfit, I believe, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
she is.
Yep.
She's the queen.
Man, that's like takes me back to reading the encyclopedias of all the characters.
Anyone else have anything to say about Pixar in general or about
Incredibles?
Incredibles before we wrap it up?
Everyone
Besides
said
Brad
much.
Bird
You
was
know,
great.
I always feel bad for that eye. Man, it gets picked on every opening movie. Flattened out.
Yeah.
Damn lamp. Damn you! Picking on eyes.
I keep waiting for it to shoot it up. And
I know, yeah.
They
See,
didn't-
something different.
I have to correct your grammar there. It's picking on me.
Boo!
They didn't do
Wow.
anything special for the eye, considering the Incredibles logo is an eye.
No, they just put, instead of the sound effects of it making, of the little lamp jumping, it was
Mhm.
just the opening music.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I feel like it's a missed opportunity.
Typically it's, yeah.
I don't think it's.
a
I don't
7
think
out
it's
of
a
10.
missed opportunity. I think it was a proper thing not to do it
I-
because it would have put too much comedy too soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the story started out very serious in order to get everybody attached to the overall plot.
So start out with a mime bomber.
Yes, Bon Voyage.
They almost went with Bob Perry on, but they couldn't get the rights.
Boom, carry on.
That's a classic, like that whole, like saying your villain's name, Bon Voyage. Just, oh, so good.
So the first time that I watched The Incredibles, I watched it in Russian. And that Bon Voyage scene got me because, they kept the original voice with him, Mr. Incredible. And they actually kept that there.
Yeah, so funny, so great. I don't know, we should just do an Incredibles podcast. So,
Welcome to episode 50 of the Incredibles podcast. Today we're going to talk about that scene where Jack catches on fire.
I love Jack Attack.
Oh my gosh, I was
Love
just
that.
thinking, they're all going to be like 5-6 years older. It'll be interesting. I wonder if they're going to do that. So
Maybe
Jack
they'll
Jack's
deal
going to be
with,
like a 12-year-old with
Well, he's
control over his
essentially-
Demon
powers.
powers.
Yeah.
And it would be
Well,
great.
they made a mention that he's going to be like one of the most powerful superheroes of all times because he has not just a couple of powers but so many.
It's going to be interesting to see The Incredibles 2 now that people are a lot more familiar with superheroes.
Right.
That's
Well,
true. But it's the same writer, same director, so we'll see. Same.
And he was resisting it for a long time.
Well, yeah.
Without like a good story that made it worth.
It's been 10 years.
That's
but they also said the same thing with Toy Story 4. They would never do another Toy Story unless a good script was presented, and finally there was.
Has anybody read? There's a book. I think it's called Fail Fast.
I've heard of it, but I haven't.
It's basically the Pixar. I don't know if it's like the Pixar Bible, but basically that's the premise of everything they do. Their philosophy is get the bad ideas out there so they can be fixed. If things are going wrong, let them go wrong so you can fix it.
Right.
And so that speaks a lot to what Pixar's philosophy is. If they have something that's not going the way they want it to go, they'll scrap it and they'll do something else that's gonna be better, more in line with their mission. And as long as they keep doing that, I'm gonna keep being a fanboy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, how many times have they said that they've changed the story for The Good Dinosaur? I know that it's at least once, if not twice.
Yeah.
I'm not happy.
Well, I'm wondering
with
what
this.
kind of delays caused that. Like, they're like, we didn't have a Pixar movie last year. They were pretty steady, but then they were like, no, and we're getting 2 this year. So, I don't know. We'll see. They have a couple of movies in the pipeline here.
Well, they have,
They just
The
released
Good
it.
Dinosaur.
Yeah, guess what we
they
talked
have,
about it in
yeah,
Closet
they have Good Dinosaur.
Being
they
released
have,
under Disney as well, and that actually has me concerned.
well, yeah.
Aren't they all?
And then,
Like,
it's
But
Disney, Pixar.
Yeah, but Disney gave us the. Oh man, I'm gonna get into so much trouble because I actually don't like Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, come on. It's one
But yeah,
on.
they gave us Wreck-It Ralph.
Hey.
They
But
gave
they
us,
also
doesn't
gave
like
us
King
big-
Candy?
But they gave us Big Hero 6.
they did give us Big Hero 6.
And Frozen. I know how much you love Frozen.
I love
Tangled.
like 75% of Frozen and 90% of Tangled.
Look, I'll give you stuff that came out between Emperor's New Groove and Tangled.
I love him.
Well, Princess and the Frog was alright, but others like
Princess and the Frog was alright.
Didn't really care for Chicken Little. Didn't see
I
Home on the
love
Range.
Chicken
Wait, Chicken Little was Disney?
Yep.
Home on the Range
Oh,
is kind
I
of
thought that was DreamWorks.
Nope.
Would
Brother
never
Bear.
know.
Brother
Chicken
Bear.
Little's in Kingdom
Bear
Hearts.
just makes me cry.
Brother Bear was just.
That's right, he is.
But they have
There's not enough
Finding
Phil
Dory.
Thanks for ruining it for me again. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Finding Dory, Toy Story 4. They have a
Oh,
Dia de los
Finding Dory,
Muertos
that's what it was.
movie
Yeah.
that's
Yep,
going to
yep.
come
Is
out.
that Pixar or is that Disney?
It's called
Pixar.
Coco.
That,
Oh, I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
it's called
for Coco.
Coco.
I'm
It's
so
Pixar.
concerned
Why?
because
of
yeah, The Book of Life was like one of my favorite movies of last year.
It's still a couple years out, so maybe it'll be.
Yeah, it's going to be like 16, 17. So
So maybe enough time will be passed that they can do their own thing,
But
or they'll scrap it.
They have to do their own thing, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
they
okay.
have to. If it's too similar to The Book of Life, it's going to be a problem.
the book of I
Well, I can tell you this
remember
thing.
that one,
Coco
yeah.
probably won't have Channing Tatum.
Or Ron Perlman.
Good points. Both very good points.
I mean, as much as I
Sometimes,
love,
sometimes it's a plus
Channing-
tier movie, but whatever.
I love Channing Tatum, but he should not be playing the Spaniard.
Well, technically, he was playing a Spaniard, not a Mexican.
So-
major different.
Yep.
He was Hispanic, not Latino.
Brady has a couple of things that are coming out soon.
All right, so we have some video game releases this month. Well, actually, there's really not all that much, but there is one thing that I will say: if you have a PS3 or a PS4, Goat Simulator is
Are
now
you-
out.
Oh
Well,
my god.
And
I
Why?
can't. I've watched this over my son's shoulder for about 3 minutes. I don't know why. It sucked me in for 3 whole minutes. But then I realized this is the stupidest game. This is worse than Flapping Bird. At least that had a premise. You had to get to the end.
You could be that bread game.
Well, that's actually
Yeah.
not bad. Don't.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
Second of
I
all,
apparently don't know about
if
that.
we're honest, if we're gonna go the Goat Simulator route, because Jesus, that game doesn't need any more publicity than it already gets from thousands of YouTubers. What about Secret Ponchos? Get Secret Ponchos.
I don't know Secret Ponchos.
Secret Ponchos is a stylistic shooting fighting game where you play as Western stereotypes. So you have like a matador, you have a deserter of like a Mexican army, you have an old bounty hunter.
Do you have an Italian
Secret
with a cowboy
Ponchos?
hat?
Yeah, Secret
Wasn't
Ponchos.
that the? It was a PSN free game. It was lots of fun. The controls were a little tough to play with, so I lost interest
Yeah.
because honestly, while the graphics were great and the premise was fun, the controls were just
So
Yeah.
Slow.
So
it
it
didn't
was- so it
feel
was-
quite right.
It was on the PS4, but the reason I bring it up is because it's about to make its PC launch, and they've gone.
That might be better.
Well,
with
they
the
fixed the
keyboard.
controls.
That's
yeah,
what
with
they
the
said.
keyboard.
They've worked on the.
Yeah, because the controls were the major issue that turned me off to it. Because I was like, "Oh, this looks so much fun." Played for like an hour because I thought, if I give it some time, and by the end of the hour, I still couldn't remember which attack did which button sequence. Damn it!
That's what I'm like when I'm playing Smash Brothers.
Yeah, me
So-
too.
You just
given
button
up.
crunch.
I've given up
all the
because
way.
yeah.
Button. I hate losing to button mashers.
I'm a queen.
I just
button masher,
hate
everybody.
losing, and I've tried the real way and can't do it. So
Right?
actually, it is.
I actually practice Smash Brothers an hour every night. Like I actively sit down and I play online matches, and every time I'm like,
Are
I'm
you
gonna
part
get
of
better
the
and better
Smash
and better.
Brother crew?
What? No.
The teams?
No.
Oh man, you don't know about the teams
I don't.
in the valley? They go out and do
So,
competitions. and
Remind
stuff.
me not to.
There's
play
also a
Smash
Street
Brothers
Fighter
with
team.
Aldo.
Okay, I know about the
There's
Street
a
Fighter.
dude that I
Kill me
work with.
quick.
He's so good. I almost beat him once. It was
Takes
too
the fun
close.
away when someone just can kill you with it. You're like, I grabbed him. Oh, I'm dead again. Oh.
Well, that's your problem. You're using grabs.
That was an example. Anyway,
Anyway, and then one other thing, it's actually another port that came out that I would highly suggest, is Zombie, which was originally Zombie U for the Wii U. It's a Wii U launch title, and it's one of the creepiest, best survival horror games that I have played in a long time. And it's basically zombie outbreak in London. And the thing that I love about it is anytime that you die, your character is dead. They become a zombie. And then you become a new character, and you have to go and find your stuff by killing the old you. It's actually pretty cool.
And instead of yelling brains, they go crumpets, tea.
It's funny because
Not quite, but you do have a cricket bat as your main melee.
well, it was effective in Shaun of the Dead. So
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I tried.
there's not a whole lot of movies coming out.
Although we did just have Man from U.N.C.L.E. come out.
Oh, Man from U.N.C.L.E.
That
so
was
good.
excellent.
So
oddly
good.
enough, the critics hated it. It got a C-.
I think it was 60s though. Why? If only we had the internet right in front of us.
All I know is that I was watching that movie, and every time Henry Cavill was on the screen, I was like, I want that suit. He looks so good.
It's also Henry Cavill.
And
That's
Armie
true.
Hammer, I was like, I don't know, I really didn't, because Lone Ranger wasn't supposed to be that good. He was great and did a great Russian accent.
He was the emotional heart of the movie.
Yeah.
A movie that
wasn't-
almost didn't have an emotional heart.
Right.
It was okay. So 55 Metascore. I don't know.
Rotten Tomatoes,
Yeah.
How much?
67.
67. That's good.
You are now
I
engaged.
really liked it.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it just goes to show that overall, but the Entertainment Weekly was the C-.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good.
But I
good one
liked
to
the
keep in
TV
mind.
show, so I was excited for the movie.
Have you
How
seen
does
it yet?
it-
or-
No,
Oh,
unfortunately
TV.
I worked the swing shift from 10 to 7, and so it's difficult to get out.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going out tomorrow though.
That's wonderful.
And me, I love Guy Ritchie. I actually do.
Yeah.
I love his Sherlock Holmes movies. I even love his two ridiculously British to be seen movies that he has. The Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. All of those, I love those.
If you
Snatch.
like Guy Ritchie, you will love Man from U.N.C.L.E. because it is
So-
very
so-
much
it's
very Guy Ritchie.
Very
So-
cool. So a lot of the. Oh, sorry, Aldo. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, as a person that hasn't seen the show, I don't know how well it ties to the actual show.
I don't know
but
either.
The way I pitched it to people was imagine James Bond if it was written by the guy that that made the Sherlock movies, because that's honestly what it is.
And a lot of this, the cool stuff about The Incredibles, how it's a retro, it's the 60s, but not quite, and the music and everything like that. You
I
also
love
get
that.
in Man from U.N.C.L.E.
It's funny because
The music is great, and the style of it is really cool.
I've complained about Minions before. Minions tries to set its entire story in a very particular time frame, and it just fails. Man from U.N.C.L.E. sets it in the time frame back when sexism was cool. It's very James Bond, although the female representation is actually pretty good.
She's
Yeah.
great.
The two prominent female characters
The twist?
fails the Bechdel test, but the two prominent female characters, because they don't talk to each other,
Yeah.
the two prominent female characters are really great characters.
And the twist is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I love that. in
Great,
English-
now I know that there's a twist.
What spy movie doesn't have a twist?
And
Oh wait,
we're lucky this year with spy movies because Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation was awesome
Yes, it was way
and
good.
had a great female lead as well.
Oh yeah.
And we're getting Spectre later this year.
So
yeah,
excited.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
That one I'm geeking out on.
And
I'm a big
I'm
Bond
starting
guy.
to avoid trailers for that. I've seen a couple little things, but like I want to back away and just.
Well, I just oh gosh, I can't remember the magazine. They did an entire revamp of the entire Bond universe, and they had 2 pages on every film and actor. It was great, and so you get all the way up, and then they do this 4-page spread on Spectre.
Just how
It was fantastic.
I'm excited for the look of it and how cool it is, and there's a new car and all this stuff. Just every
I
little
just
thing
love
about
that the fact that they brought the DB5 back for
Yeah.
Casino Royale,
Yeah.
because they hadn't had the DB5 since
They had
Goldfinger.
Beamers. They had Beamers for a long, well, at least for Pierce Brosnan.
Right.
Yeah, the Pierce Brosnan is it's because BMW got the contract, but yeah, we're probably like,
On
way
the other
over
hand,
time.
Strata Compton has a nice 72% on Metacritic.
It's supposed to be really great.
Man,
I like it, even if
everybody
it's not your thing,
there's like guys at work quoting this film, and I hear the quotes and I go, this is so not a film I'm going to go see.
But I can respect that other people love it.
Well, absolutely, but I'm just referring to myself.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like it's really well made. So
I don't think you're in the intended audience.
Yeah, you know,
Just go see- just go see
middle-aged
Jurassic
white man.
White
yeah,
boys,
probably.
white boys listen to more gangster rap than you'd be.
Yeah, go to
I
Wyoming.
think we're the bad guy. We're the bad guy in that movie.
It was a race joke.
we do have to talk about one comic book release. I just realized the first trade paperback for the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl came out this week.
Oh man.
It's drawn by Erica Henderson and written by the guy who writes dinosaur comics.
No, did you realize that Squirrel Girl is actually one of the most powerful
She beat Dr.
characters?
Doom.
She beat Dr. Doom individually.
I believe that the first story arc of the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl is about Squirrel Girl versus Galactus. So yeah.
So I heard
Sold.
something. I heard
Right
that Marvel is bringing Devil Dinosaur back.
Yes! Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. This looks fantastic.
Oh, I did see that.
Devil Dinosaur is one
Yeah.
of the kind of forgotten great Jack Kirby creations. Man did not make much garbage. He made some, but not much. And so they're revamping it. They're bringing the dinosaur. It used to take place in the Stone Age, or I think Jack Kirby called it the Age of X because Jack Kirby had a flair for the dramatic. But now they're bringing the dinosaur from the Stone Age into the modern age, and his companion, instead of being this like little cave boy, is this adorable little girl. I'm so excited. I'm all about little girls and monsters like teaming up. It's great.
I really thought he was going to stop, and I'm all about little girls.
I like little girls. They make me feel so good.
Okay.
Little girls, they
And and yes, Your Honor, that's when we knew that there was an issue.
So
Hey, my name is not Jared.
Oh,
I've been actively avoiding that. Thank you for
that's
saying
why.
that.
Hey, I liked Quiznos before. This.
okay, so one
Brady.
more thing.
Yeah.
So next month's podcast, we're going to announce what we're doing right now because we want you guys to watch this along with us so that you can really relate to the podcast. It's going to be all about Doctor Who.
Here it goes.
But I've already seen them all.
And specifically
Doctor?
5 episodes that we're going to be discussing.
Oh.
So
Yes, they are disgusting.
discussing.
Oh, okay. I don't want to watch any
That
disgusting.
we will be yeah, whatever. I can't talk right
We're
now.
not going to do a Doctor Who's on first kind of joke thing going.
No.
Doctor Who.
So we're doing
Maybe episodes, please.
okay. So these are the 5 episodes that you will need to
Shave and
watch.
haircut.
From Christopher Eccleston's Doctor, the episode Dalek.
Okay.
All right. From the David Tennant Doctor, Girl in the Fireplace.
Okay.
Great episode.
Great episode. The Dalek is a good episode.
From Matt Smith, Vincent and the Doctor.
Yes! I'm so
Okay.
excited about this right now, you guys. Anyway.
From all of them, Day of the Doctor.
All right.
Okay.
Right.
Oh well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's the 50th anniversary special and it's amazing.
I love the Day of the Dalek because they're in Utah.
Yeah.
So
We'll
for
talk
the-
about that.
Yeah.
Well, I have to get my 2 cents in because I'm not going
Yeah,
to be here.
that's true.
However, you guys do a monthly podcast, so if you really need a jonesing during the week, come listen to the Closet Geek because we are a weekly podcast,
This is
And
called
then-
cross
and we're only
promotion.
it's
The cross promotion hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Closet.
Hey,
Episode
Fifth
number 5.
episode, it took a little bit of working my emotions out to decide which Capaldi episode we're going to do, but we're going to do Time Heist.
Okay,
Which
so
he described this other
that's a good
episode,
one.
and then he said the other one's called Time Heist, and this is sold.
that's a good
Yeah,
one though.
yeah. Well, I was debating between Time Heist and Listen because Listen is really great, but it's also very conceptual.
Yeah, I'm
and
like,
deep.
well, you have to really be in the whole Doctor Who world,
Yeah.
and so you really got to pick a good standalone.
Mhm.
Okay,
And
so
and the heist is Time Heist is far
so
better.
for those of us that hear names and just hear blah 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 British names, is there like a season number and episode number? Because I don't want
We will be
Oh,
posting that
absolutely.
on. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll be posting that on our Facebook page.
because I am putting minimal effort into this.
Oh, I plan on. I enjoyed Girl in the Fireplace. That's the only one that I've seen of them.
I like
plan
the
on making
name.
fun of it a little bit too. So.
Yeah.
Usually I don't put girls in the fireplace. It
But-
gets messy. Just
But
saying.
when it's a portal
It's actually
to
a really clean way to
Steven-
get rid of the body.
Yeah, Steven likes to put little girls in the fireplace.
Man, you guys are getting the wrong idea about me. All I'm saying is I like Oingo Boingo.
I love Oingo Boingo. Or of course, at that point in time, they were almost Boingo. So
So for reviews versus the world versus Pixar, this has been John, Brady, Emily, Aldo, Stephen, and Michael signing off.
Yeah, pretty much.
thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Because you guys do like a 1 month, like 2 hour